Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. An arrest Tuesday afternoon around 5:43 p.m. cleared a number of burglaries of motor vehicle in the Helm Lane addition, according to the Special Crimes Unit. The burglaries occurred during the month of March. Due to the number and frequency, the Special Crimes Unit was asked to assist the Sulphur Springs Patrol Division in the investigation. Jeremy Randall Hill, age 27, of Sulphur Springs, was arrested on Bill Bradford Road for a parole violation, but during questioning he confessed to 4 of the motor vehicle robberies and stated he didn't remember the rest. Hill confessed to roaming the streets at night and pulling on car door handles to determine if the vehicle was locked or not. He told investigators that he took money and nothing else from the vehicles. Video surveillance at several residences enabled investigators to identify Hill. Warrants are being issued for each burglary, and a separate warrant for theft will also be served on Hill. When Hill was arrested, he was found to have 2 ounces of marijuana in his possession. Hill is currently in Hopkins County Jail, held on parole violation and for possession of marijuana. Warrants for the theft of burglary of motor vehicles will be served on him in jail, according to authorities. Quentin Lipscomb, age 49, of Sulphur Springs, was arrested on a warrant for continuous sexual abuse of a young child or children, a felony 1. He was arrested at his apartment on Church Street Tuesday evening at 9:28. Sulphur Springs police were contacted March 30th regarding the continuous sexual abuse. The victim was interviewed by the Child Advocacy Center in Winsboro, and a probable cause finding led to an arrest warrant issued by Justice of the Peace Brad Cummings. The charge of continuous sexual abuse carries a minimum sentence of 25 years in prison if Lipscomb is found guilty. Lipscomb is in Hopkins County Jail, held on a $200,000 bond. A Hopkins County deputy responding to a person acting suspiciously on County Road 4649 made contact with Matthew Scott Munden, age 30, of Sulphur Springs. When the deputy noted an open container in the center console, Munden said he knew better and that he did not have his driver's license with him. That was just the beginning. Munden was asked to pour out the alcoholic beverage, and when he opened the door to do so, the deputy noted a loaded syringe and metal container on the driver's side door. In the syringe and the plastic baggie in the metal container was a total of 1.01 grams of a controlled substance. Munden is in Hopkins County Jail, charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, more than 1 gram but less than 4 grams. He's being held on a $30,000 bond. In a sentencing hearing in 8th Judicial District Court Tuesday, Casey Gween Miles was sentenced to 2 25-year sentences to run concurrent and will have to register as a sex offender for the remainder of his life. Miles will have to serve 12 and a half years before being eligible for parole due to these aggravated offenses. According to Assistant District Attorney Matt Harris, Miles, age 23, of Sulphur Springs, pled guilty to 2 separate indictments for the first-degree felony offenses of aggravated sexual assault of a child on March 8, 2018. There was no plea bargain agreement between the state and the defendant, and the court was to decide the punishment. During the plea hearing on March 8th, Mr. Miles admitted his guilt to 6 cases of sexual assault of a child, 1 case of continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14 years of age, and 1 case of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1. Because Miles admitted his guilt in these cases, they were dismissed, and the court took notice of them and considered his admissions when deciding the sentence for the 2 remaining first-degree felony cases. Harris called 3 live witnesses, and the court also had an opportunity to review witness interviews, police reports, forensic reports from the defendant's cell phone, and a social and mental health history of the defendant. Harris was able to outline for the court an approximate 10-year history of inappropriate or illegal sexual contact with much younger boys by Miles, beginning when Miles was 12 or 13 years of age. The defendant's attorney, Frank Hughes, was able to prove that the defendant had been sexually abused as a child, came from a broken home, had endured a tragic life, and had mental health issues. Harris said based on his belief that Miles is a high risk to reoffend, he requested the court sentence the defendant to the maximum life in prison and consummate each sentence. Mr. Hughes argued for the lenient sentence, including probation, based on the defendant's circumstance. Based on the totality of circumstances, Harris said he believed that the sentence was fair and just.
It's traditional. April brings the John Chester Dutch Oven cooking class in Heritage Park. It will be April 14th, and you can sign up to attend the class. Let's hear more from Rick Wilson, who is the organizer.
April 14th, 8 to 12 is normal, and we're looking to have several folks come out, and we've got folks coming out that have been there before, and I think they come for the fellowship and the food.
Do you think they come for the ambiance? The
ambiance. There you are. Yeah, we do have folks that do that, and it is a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun that come out, and it's not. They'll learn different things every time they come out, and they'll work different areas because we all split up in different sections, and sometimes we'll do breads here and meats here, and sometimes this folks will want to do just breads, and next time they'll want to do meats, and so we split up, and they go different directions and learn how to work with the different sizes of ovens as well. We have, I have, from 10-inch or 8-inch up to 16-inch ovens, and you run into a large variety, and each one is a different cooking vessel in itself. They take less coals, more coals, and learning how to control the heat for an 8-inch oven is a lot different than learning how to cook. I use my 16 and my 14 basically for cooking my breads and my dinner rolls and stuff like that. So you've got to learn how to control your heat for each one of these. And I'll do little cakes and whatnot in the smaller ones, and so you've got to learn how to keep your heats right. And that's what we're out there to do, is teach folks how to do this in the different sizes of ovens.
Well, I will say some of the cooking that you've advanced to and some of the other cooks in Hopkins County is on the gourmet level. I do want to ask you a question. Okay. When you make a cake, can you turn it out like you would?
Oh, yeah. One of the things we do is a pineapple upside-down cake.
Okay, so it comes right out onto a plate and looks beautiful.
And ready to eat. Sure does.
Amazing.
I've got a recipe of it's an apple spice cake that my mother had cooked for years, and I use a 10-inch oven for it, and you can literally turn it out, and it just comes out real pretty, and set it up right, and put your toppings on it or whatever you want to do, and it makes a real pretty cake when it comes out. It's kind of like a bundt cake.
Okay. Well, there's so much. There's so much science to this Dutch oven cooking, and anybody can do it. Anybody can be a beginner and just have some success from the very start.
Oh yeah, we teach basically charcoal, using fire coal or coals from a fire is a little bit different. You learn how to do that, but we like to teach with charcoal because it is a simpler way of learning how to control your heat.
Correct.
Use so many charcoals on top, so many on bottom. Of course,
each one has a value of so much heat.
Right. And we have charts that tell you this, and we hand them out to the folks. And most of your Dutch oven cookbooks will tell you this.
Okay.
The value of each coal and where to place them, and how to make the rings with them, and there's all kinds of little things you can learn.
See, the cooks that you may have known, let's say Grandpa did this, and he might not know all the scientific explanations of them that we do today.
Right.
He would just eyeball it like Grandma did in the kitchen, eyeball it and kind of know, and it turned out really good.
A lot of folks would dig a hole and put some coals down in the bottom and a few on top of the oven. We do everything on tabletops. as we progress in our age level, we decide it's not as easy to bend over as it used to be. So most of us have tables that we use to cook the ovens on, and they're metal tables, and they help keep the heat,
okay,
and keep you from bending over as much too.
Make it more fun to get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask this: what if maybe you inherited an oven or a skillet, a Dutch oven or skillet, or some piece of cast iron, and you want to cook with it, but you are not sure that its surface is just okay for foods to be cooked on it. You could just line it and continue working.
Sure
with it.
can. You can line it with some foil and put it in the surface and still do cobblers or any kind of meal you want to. You can buy foil liners to go in most 12, 14-inch ovens and do the same thing. A lot of people are getting to where they like to use the liners because they make for easier cleanup at the end of the day. You can just lift it out and you're done. And you still get to use the oven in its capacity.
Sure.
And I've got one or two that I need to use some liners in. They've just been, over the years, have just gotten pitted and wore out.
We know that you can break a cast iron vessel.
You most definitely can.
And you don't want to do that. There's just a couple of things to not ever do, but basically they're just tough as iron.
Yes, they are. They're tough pieces of cookware.
Do you think anyone ever wore a skillet out?
I would not doubt it a bit. I would not doubt it a bit, but I don't know. I've got some pretty old ones I still use now. Most of them are just, I've got two that are just slick as glass, and they're my non-stick cookware.
Okay. They're so well seasoned.
Yeah, they're so well seasoned. And there's myths about cleaning Dutch ovens or cast iron. Can't use soap and water. Yes, you can. You don't want to soak them, but you can take soap and water and clean it out just as long as you clean it. I mean, just re-oil it.
Yeah. It really isn't brain surgery using cast iron. It is simple.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be simple.
Yes. It's a lot of fun.
But and the use of the whatever fire type of fire that you use or heat, and the way it reacts to that iron, and the way the food then reacts to the heat that it exposed to. It's all a science.
Well,
and it's worth studying.
It's fun. Yes, it's fun, and you learn. The more you cook, the more you learn. And we learn every time we cook. I mean, if we didn't, we wouldn't continue to do it. And there are hundreds of recipes and different, anything you can cook in the house, in the oven, you can cook in a cast iron. I mean, it's just that simple. I love to cook breads. Breads are my favorite thing. I like to cook breads in the oven, Dutch ovens, because they're they're just a challenge to me.
Well, everybody knows you can do biscuits and cornbread.
Oh, yeah.
You go way beyond that.
Oh, yeah, we'll do loaf bread, dinner rolls, twisted breads. I've even rolled out and done cinnamon rolls, and you can do anything.
So about the class that's coming up just a week from this Saturday?
Yes,
okay.
The 14th.
And this is how many years?
16.
Okay.
I think.
It all got started with you, even though you already had a love for it. You're associated with Boy Scouts, and of course Boy Scouts do this kind of thing. But there was an individual in our community that kind of took it to another level.
Oh, yeah, he always did that. And he and I talked about doing classes, and actually we had the first class before Johnny passed away, and he wasn't able to attend, but we had the first class. We had a Dutch oven cooking class. It became the John Chester later.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun and unique learning experience. By all means, a unique learning experience.
Well, you will pass along a lot of that in the class. Let's say there's someone listening who doesn't even have a Dutch oven or skillet, but they want to learn how. Would you have something they could use?
We'll teach them how. We've got We furnish everything, food, ovens, charcoal. All we need is bodies to be there.
Okay.
And like you said, it's April 14th. It's $15. You get to come out. We do door prizes off and on all day long and give away stuff. And it's really unique, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
Well, let's talk about beautiful Heritage Park real fast,
Okay.
where it will be held.
Yes, 416 Jackson Street, just south of Farmers Co-op.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots will be going on in Heritage Park as we go into the spring and summer.
We've got a lot of things coming up. We will start, well, we're kind of splitting. Let's see, this weekend we'll start collecting the artwork for the the County Youth Art Show.
Okay.
Then we give us a week or so to assemble it and get it displayed, and then we have our Youth Art Show on the 21st.
Okay.
And it's has turned into a great experience for us. Susan and the ladies do an awesome job putting all this out. And I forget how many pieces they said they had last year. We're getting to where we have several hundred pieces of art. Now this ranges from acrylics, oils, pen and pencil, charcoal, to pottery. It's just a very wide variety she covers.
Is it all ages of youth or middle and high school?
You're going to get me telling a fib here. I want to
And
say,
is it all county schools?
It's all county schools, yes, and all of them participate.
That's wonderful.
So it's a great thing to have everybody come out and see.
And man, we really do have some amazing artists, young artists.
Sure
So that's
do.
another reason to come to Heritage Park
Right.
this month. We just don't have but about 1 minute, Rick, but there was a major event that happened last Saturday.
Yes, we had several years ago, we at the scouting organization built what we call Liberty Circle up at Camp Dirks in Oklahoma. After the council was in the merger stage, we were able to go in and move Liberty Circle, and it is now, and I'm very grateful that it is, in Sulphur Springs and in Heritage Park. And that has all the names of all the Eagle Scouts, Silver Beavers, Vigils that were in Netzio Trails Council.
Okay.
And we had a good turnout.
Will there be new Eagle Scout names added as we go forward?
We are undecided at this point how we can do that.
Okay.
Because that was dedicated to Netzio Trails Council. We have talked about several different methods of adding names in the future.
Okay.
If kids want to do a project in the park or something.
Well, a lovely thing there to be commemorated in Heritage Park. When you go to the cooking class or the youth art show or whatever, be sure and look at that Liberty Circle. Something to be proud of. Well, Rick, we once again give a phone number for them to join.
You can call me at 903-335-2752, and we'll be glad to take your name and get you signed up, and you can pay when you get there.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
The Lady Cats softball team lost its first district game of the season 10-4 to Hallsville at Lady Cat Park on Tuesday night. The Lady Cats are still in first place by one game over the field in district play. I talked about that loss with Lady Cat softball coach David Carrillo.
You know, those things happen, and, I told our kids, we're still in control of our own destiny. We had won 7 in a row, and, it's just a little, road, the road bump on the road. So it's one of those things that happen. I just felt like from the beginning, it just seemed like everything was just kind of out of sync. We're having a tarp put on, taking it off, and then when we got there, it was just, the delay and just all things that were going on. So, that being said, things happen. We didn't play well, and you end up losing. But it don't matter what the score is to me. A loss is a loss, and you just got to go on and move on from it. I always tell our kids, there's winners and learners, and we learn, and we'll get better from it.
Some coaches say sometime after maybe a long winning streak and when things have really been going your way, the team kind of gets a little complacent maybe, and And a loss, no coach likes a loss, and they'll never say it's a good thing much, except Clark Cipolletta during basketball season. He said that once. And so, it may be good, to kind of refocus.
Yes, I really believe that. You hate to have them, but I think it just helps you, again, learn. And we got exposed on some things that we need to work on and we need to get more focused on. I told our girls after the game that there's nothing to be upset about. You're still in control of your own destiny. You have guaranteed 4 games, and we need to get after it. And, that being said, we're not knowing any situation that we didn't expect to be in. We still got to win them all. And we want to win a district championship. We got to win them all. So, same boat, just had, like I said, it was just a little bump in the road, and now we got to go get it fixed and go on, and have definitely learned from this game. There's some things I felt like that we need to improve on, especially offensively. We need to work on some things. And then, pitching, Bailey, it just seemed like everything was out of sync from her, which is not normal to me. I see 7 walks, and that doesn't usually happen. And, part of that is the strike zone that the umpire was putting on, and just some of it was just, I don't know if it was nerves or whatever, but she's been steady for us all year, and I know she'll continue. She'll bounce back from this, and so will we all bounce back. So, it's just one of those things that we got to learn from it and go on. Can't sit there and dwell on it.
Yeah, the worst thing would be one loss becomes 2.
Yes.
Where you're lingering or thinking about the loss, you got to kind of put it behind you and look ahead, like you say, to keep winning. And it starts with Pine Tree.
Yeah, yes, exactly. We need to get back on the right track against Pine Tree. And like I said, it immediately started for me last night after the game was done. I was thinking, okay, what do we need to do to get better? What do we need to do? And it's just the process. I don't really look at the loss. I look at what we need to do to learn from that loss. And it's simple, and we've got to sit there and improve on some of the things that we felt short on yesterday, which we will. I know we will.
Yeah, you've got a good team. They're good. That record 20-5 is not an illusion, and so you expect them to bounce back.
Oh yeah, I do, and I think they're probably taking it a little bit harder than I am, because in my process at the end of the game, like I said, I just told them, we're going to learn from this and we have to move on. We can't sit there and worry about, it doesn't matter. Loss is a loss. You just go on. You just got to learn from it and I think we will. I think it's just kind of hurt them a little bit because being at home and we took it on the chin last night and but that's part of it and part of competition. I mean, we took it to them over there, so they took it to us right back. So, we go on and hopefully, bounce back from this, which I feel like we will, and put together 4 in a row and ended up on a good note.
Mason Wabarbo, a standout offensive lineman at the University of North Texas and at Sulphur Springs High School, has been named offensive line coach at Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College in Miami, Oklahoma. Wabarbo comes to the Golden Norse program from Fort Scott, Kansas Community College, where he was co-offensive coordinator and offensive line coach. Prior to beginning his professional career at Fort Scott, Wabarbo spent 7 years as a player and graduate assistant with the North Texas Mean Green. As a player, Wabarbo was a captain and the anchor on UNT's offensive line during its magical 2013 season that ended with a victory in the Heart of Dallas Bowl against the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Wabarbo started 49 straight games for the Mean Green after his redshirt freshman year. Wabarbo was also a standout on the offensive line for the Wildcats. 2 North Hopkins pitchers threw a shutout against Saltillo in the Panthers' 18-0 baseball victory in Saltillo Tuesday. Caleb Wyatt and Colby Cameron pitched for North Hopkins. Wyatt, the winning pitcher, went 3 innings and allowed only 2 hits. He struck out 7. Cameron pitched the final 2 innings, allowing no hits while striking out 4. Matthew Gurley took the loss for Saltillo, and Michael Simmons also pitched for the Lions. The Panthers broke a scoreless tie in the top of the 2nd inning with a 10-run inning. The Panthers added a run in the 3rd, 2 more runs in the 4th, and 5 more runs in the 5th. The Panthers had 10 hits. The Lions had 2 hits. Ben Moore and Eddie Oleo had singles for Saltillo. Wyatt for North Hopkins was 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored and an RBI and a double. Chase Williams was 2 for 3 with 4 runs scored and 2 RBIs. Bryson Gillespie was 1 for 1 with a run scored, 2 RBIs and a double, and Jeffrey Stewart drove home 2 runs for the Panthers. The Saltillo Lady Lions softball team lost a close game at Yantis on Tuesday, trailing 4-0 going into the top of the 6th. The Lady Lions scored twice to cut the deficit in half. Unfortunately, that was as close as they could come, losing 4-2. Chandler Bain pitched for the Lady Lions, and she struck out 10 Lady Owls. For the Lady Lions, Jordan Sestair was 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Christy Gurley was 1 for 2 with a walk and a single. And Madison Simmons, Bain, Paisley Kastner, Josie Bench, and Shelby Matlock were all 1 for 3 with a single. The Lady Lions play next at Rivercrest on Saturday.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.